plaintiff, Porter Magby, says the defendant is his daughter, but he's sad to admit it, considering that she recently assaulted him by hitting him in the chest, slapping him, and shoving him off a porch. Porter is suing his daughter today for 2 loans, stolen property, and emotional distress. Defendant Carlene Robinson says her father has always been a vile, abusive person who beat her, her siblings, and her mother, sometimes until they bled. Carlene's countersuing her father for stolen property and emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, Carlene Robinson is my daughter, I'm sad to say, and especially after what happened last Friday when she beat me up and shoved me off the porch.
You're lying.
And
Quiet, ma'am. Go ahead.
And I had seen her pull in the driveway where she used to live and my property where she moved out 6 weeks ago and had come back, and I'd went over to tell her to leave, and at such time she went to beating me in the back and shoved me out the door and shoved me off the porch while severely giving me a cussing, and then in the yard she hit me in the chest and slapped me and kept cussing me and called the sheriff on me. And I
Called the sheriff on you?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Said it was her property. When I told him that she did that, and I said I have no physical marks, no proof she's got her ex-husband with her as a witness, and so I thought it was dropped until she posted it on Facebook page and was bragging about beating up her dad.
Let's see it.
And,
Ma'am, did you do this? Did you assault your dad?
I did not assault him. I did push him out of my house.
That's assault. When you put your hands on somebody without their permission, unless it's incidental touching, and pushing out is not incidental. You assaulted your father. I told him to go to hell because it was my house and my land. We got into a screaming match, and I told him to get out of my house and off my land. And I backed him to the front door, yelling and arguing the whole way, but he refused. So I physically shoved him out of the front door onto the porch and then shoved him off the porch. He kept screaming. I had to leave, and he was calling the cops. We continued to yell and argue, and I was right up in his face. Then he got right up in my face to the point the bill of his hat was digging into my forehead. And well, I won't publicly say exactly what I did as not to incriminate myself. Oh. What else, sir? This is going to be quick. What else, sir?
What brought this about, Your Honor, is I was kicking off my property because her and her boyfriend planted drug paraphernalia on a lady that was in the hospital, his ex-girlfriend.
You're a liar.
I advise you to shut your mouth.
Well,
I advise you to shut yours and read his letter to the Stillwater Press.
Did it say
And I answered him that he
Did it
lied.
say any names?
Sir, is that who he snuck the drugs on?
he planted drugs on his ex-girlfriend.
He planted them on her, too. Well, she used them.
Probably you.
I've heard so, Your Honor.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He's a liar.
I know. Go ahead.
While in the hospital, having the baby treated for leukemia at the age of 9 months, which is when this happened, my daughter and her...
This woman is the same person who tested positive for
Ma'am,
3
I'll let you
drugs while
respond. Go
pregnant.
ahead.
And her husband and her new boyfriend who tested positive for methamphetamines, and this young lady had passed all of her drug
This
tests.
woman was arrested out in the hospital for a controlled substance, and this woman was arrested and taken to jail for doing 3 controlled substances while she was pregnant with my granddaughter.
Keep your teeth in your mouth and
Oh,
sit down.
shut up. You knew that woman for 60 days.
And you've been around for less than 3 months and have nothing to do with
You
the
have nothing to
case.
do with my granddaughter or that woman.
I found the daughter's
That
mother.
woman was arrested for 3 controlled substances while she was pregnant.
Oh, keep your teeth in.
That's
It's
Sit down.
recorded
That's enough.
in jail.
I don't need to hear any more from you.
Thank you, sir.
She got calm. Thank you, sir. You're a piece of work. she was yelling and yelling. I said, well, that's enough, man. Thank you, sir. You're all right with me. That's all. I'll let you do your thing. Go ahead, ma'am. Let me hear from you. What is all this about with your dad?
He has always been a vicious, vile, evil, abusive person.
Toward whom?
Towards my mother and all of my sisters. He would beat us so severely, sometimes making us bleed.
Sir, who is the witness?
Oh my God.
This is my youngest daughter, Starlita.
All right, stand
Elliott.
up, ma'am. State your name.
Starlita Elliott.
You heard what your sister said. She said that your dad has been abusive most of you all's life. He would beat you until you bleed. He abused all the daughters, your mom. What do you say to all that?
Some of that's true. He had been abusive to my mother when we were younger, and I think what she's referring to as a time when she got spanked really bad, but I really never got spanked.
How many
or
other
anything.
sisters do you have?
We have another older sister.
All right. And you nor she have been
Bled and beaten, no. No.
with your mom, you admit to that, but you're saying it didn't happen with the children. Just wanted her to give her piece very quickly. Go ahead. What else?
Well, there is a statement from my mother talking about the abuse as well.
She admits that did your mother mention you guys were abused in here?
About how bad he treated
All
us.
right.
Her mother's hatred for me, Your Honor, will have her to testify to anything. And both of my other daughters keeps getting on to her mother about telling these lies. And they've even took their mother off of their Facebook on the count of this.
Because she posted on Facebook she could not believe that you guys were doing this.
You are like a yapping chihuahua.
Well, you
Shut
know
up.
what? You're a liar.
God.
You care about nothing but lies.
Yeah, she did
Are you
talk
getting
about
your
how bad he
15 minutes
was.
of fame?
Oh, you're so funny, honey.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's enough, ma'am. He truly was bad to Carlene.
Yeah, she didn't put in there about the physical stuff.
You didn't put anything in there bad to anybody other than you. All right, ma'am. And how do we get to the loans, sir? What happened with loans?
In July of 14, she needed to borrow $2,400, which I loaned her. And up to this year, she still owed me $600. And at that time, she needed to borrow $2,000 to pay her attorney to file for a divorce.
You loaned her that? And when was she to repay that?
And she was supposed to pay that back $100 a month.
And has she given you anything on it?
And she paid me $100 on it, Your Honor.
Okay, and therefore owes how
And,
much on that?
And $1,900.
All right, owes $1,900 on that.
Yeah.
And what stolen property are you referring to?
Your Honor, when I went to get a couple of my mowers out of the backyard to put them in my
weren't your
shed over
mowers,
at
they're
my
my
house,
mowers.
Ma'am? So
And-
where did the strife come from in the beginning?
I was started evicting her for setting that girl up and getting her arrested.
You knew that girl for 60 days.
and-
Not even that.
All right, carry
Shut
on.
up.
I dared to leave my husband, and I wasn't a good little woman.
Go ahead. Go ahead. All right, and so when you went to get your 2 lawnmowers, those are the 2 things you're suing for?
No, sir. I'm also suing for the property that I'd loaned her that when she moved out, she took with her.
Loaned me for 8
You
years.
have those items? A list of them?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and the emotional distress is for the assault, obviously.
And she's tried to have him arrest, or
You come
yeah,
on up
she's
and I
called
can help you, Dad. Feel free to weigh in whenever you think you might need to.
She's also tried to have him arrested a few times.
Yes.
And she tried to get a protective order, which was denied.
Which was denied,
Yes.
Your Honor.
Alleging what?
That I was trespassing on her property and stealing property from her yard,
And it
Your
was
Honor.
denied. Ma'am, let's get to you.
The first loan that he's referring to for $2,400, yes, he did loan me that money. I made 16 payments of $150, which are noted on this spreadsheet. He was paid in full for that loan. The second loan that he's referring to, the $2,000 to retain my attorney, is a bold-faced lie. He never loaned it to me. There came a point that I was so desperate and needed the money for an attorney, I wrote him a note. I even included this is how I could pay it back. I put the note on his door begging him for his help. He never answered me. The next day, I called my friend Gina, who is also my witness. She loaned me the money. We have a written agreement as well as the receipts of each payment I have made since she loaned me the money.
Did you owe him any money at the time of this letter?
Not for that loan, for improvements on land that he's now trying to take back away from me.
How much did you owe him?
I believe it was $1,284, pardon me.
At the
But now
time,
he's
I
trying to
loaned
say
her
the
money.
land's not mine, and I'm not going to pay him for improvements on land that he's going to try to take away from me.
At the time I loaned her the money for the lawyer, Your Honor, I told her that when she went and give it to him to bring me back the receipt so I could make
How
sure.
did he get the receipt?
He got the receipt, which is shown in the statement from my estranged husband, by breaking into my house while I was at work.
All right.
And
And the first thing that jumps out here is loan for attorney.
No,
You have
oh,
on your ledger.
that one there is the offer that I gave him. If you will loan me the money, this is how I will pay
It says
it.
debit. It says debit, meaning you've already received it. And then he provides the
offer.
receipt in which he broke in the house and stole. The lawyer
can see
receipt,
that in
which he
my
broke in the
husband's
house.
statement.
What'd you do? Kick it in, sir? You went through the window? What'd you do? How'd you get in there? Just wondering. Then we have the evidence of you assaulting your dad. Your claim is dismissed for a bunch of lies. Yours is granted for the truth. Have a good day.
These are evil, vile, nasty people that do nothing but lie and terrorize my children.
Obviously, there is no lies if the judge
You were
sees the
trash.
truth.
You just need to shut your mouth. You ain't nothing but trash.
Well,
You
you're
never
related
been
to
anything
me.
but trash.
You're
You
related to
interfered with
me.
my
Shut
granddaughter
up,
who has
Chihuahua.
leukemia.